So I saw The Flash the other day. Let's talk about it. So the story is basically a cookie-cutter Flashpoint arc with Barry Allen using his super speed to travel back in time to save his family, which ultimately leads to him ending up in the wrong reality and things don't go to plan. For me, The Flash has always been one of my favorite superheroes, so I was pretty excited for this one, despite all the issues with Ezra Miller, which we'll get into later. And upon my first watch, I went in with absolutely zero expectations. I mean, there were people saying that this was the best comic book movie ever, and that can either mean, oh boy, this is going to be way overhyped and I'm going to be let down, or 99% of the time, it's a decent movie. And I'm gonna go with the latter and say I enjoyed this movie. Sue me. I think the fact that we even got this movie was shocking in its own, with all the setbacks, rewrites, the Ezra Miller scandals, all that stuff. And I gotta say, I'm very glad we got to witness this movie. Michael Keaton also came back to reprise his role of Batman, and I gotta say, he killed it. A lot of people weren't too happy to see this decision to have him back, and they were saying it's fan service, but honestly, it really worked for me. They didn't change his character at all. In fact, he was probably more of a badass in this movie, and I gotta say, he was probably my favorite character in the film. We also got to see Supergirl, who was played by Sasha Calle, who I thought actually did a really good job. My only issue is with these movies, right? They like to put a lot in the trailer, and I thought it would have been 1,000% cooler if she wasn't in the trailer and it was more of a shock value thing in the film, having Supergirl there. And I think they missed the mark with leaving her in the trailer, but I know every movie does it. I mean, in the trailer, they show Michael Keaton's Batman, they show Ben Affleck's Batman. Don't put her in there, bro. It would have been way cooler with the circumstances that we had, because the way they were setting it up was like, oh man, who's it gonna be? But I mean, if you watch the trailer, you already know it's Supergirl. So it was like, kind of missed the mark, and that part kind of fell flat for me, because it was supposed to be something that was like, whoa. But it was more like, oh, I already know what's coming.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
So I did think that sequence was a little bit underwhelming, but nonetheless, she did have some really badass moments, and I thought she killed it as Supergirl. As for the Flash's character himself, I think Ezra Miller did pretty good job. I mean, I'm not gonna blow smoke up their ass, if you know what I'm saying, but they didn't do a bad job per se. But the other version of Barry in this did annoy me quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not always a big fan of when movies make this like really dumb character where it's like they don't know their ABCs or 1, 2, 3s, like just unrealistically stupid. And all movies do it, but I never understand it. Like, there's some dumb people in this world, but like there's no way you're gonna tell me someone is ever gonna be that stupid. I'm telling you. It just gets distracting and annoying. I did find myself laughing though a lot throughout this movie. I mean, it is a funny movie, but I just think they could have toned down the stupidity of the other Barry a little bit, and it would have been just as good. Like, man, this guy was dumb.
He's smart, you're dumb.
And I get that's the Flash's character. He's the comedic relief. He's got those witty comments and like funny. That's him. And the movie was funny, but Jesus, this guy was stupid. Like, they don't want to take things too seriously, but at times I was like, shut up. But other than that, they did a decent job with The Flash. I'm not going to sit here and say masterpiece performance, but, it was good. Now let's talk about the CGI. Yeah, it was nothing short of dog shit, and I'm sure you've already heard. I mean, it was PlayStation 3 level of CGI, and I actually turned to my friend at one point and was like, is this on purpose? Like, is this actually what they're going for here? Because it was that bad.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I mean, it was probably the worst CGI I've seen with a movie of this type of budget in a long time. I can't lie. Even when both Barrys are on screen, you could totally tell which one was Ezra acting and which one was just a face replacement with like a stand-in. And it was pretty bad. But then there were some scenes with like some actual people that look like Grand Theft Auto 4 NPCs. I mean, geez. Not really sure what happened here. I think they spent most of their money on cameos, and we'll get into that, but my God. But I will say, not to shit on it too much, when me and my friends got out of the movie and were discussing it, none of us really cared. I feel like it didn't sway my opinion on the movie, like, whatsoever, and I just tried to focus on the story, which was honestly pretty good. They did a really good job with the story. I try to like categorize these things when I'm going to see a certain type of movie. Like, you're gonna go see a Quentin Tarantino kind of movie, it's not gonna compare to a Marvel or a DC film, if you know what I'm saying. Like, the cinematography won't be as good, the dialogue, but that's not what they're trying to do. When I go to see a superhero movie though, I go in thinking, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to escape reality. Like, I'm not going in there expecting top tier filmmaking, if that makes sense. So I try to judge it for what it is. And for this being a superhero movie, I had a great time. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about were the cameos without spoiling it.
Worst cameo
I feel like a lot of these superhero movies are very cameo heavy and they just throw a cameo in there for the sake of doing it, which I'm just not the biggest fan of. I like cameos if you do it right. Like if it provides value to the story and not just like some, oh my god, there's Hulk on the screen. Like there were a few in there where I was like, why? What was the point of that? That just didn't need to be in there. Or you probably could have cut out all the cameos and it wouldn't have made the movie any worse. And you probably could have used some of that budget to get some better CGI, if you know what I'm saying. Because God only knows how much those cameos cost.
What CGI?
But yeah, guys, I gotta say, I did really like this movie despite all its flaws. It doesn't reinvent the wheel of these multiversal superhero movies or anything, but what it was just a good time, a good laugh, and a fun escape. And I know a lot of people are boycotting this movie because of Ezra Miller's actions, which I do not condone, by the way. But if you do go see this movie, I think there is a high chance that you'll be entertained. So if you have seen The Flash, let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree or disagree with some of my points. I want to plug my Letterboxd too. If you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's basically like a social media for movies. Like you can track all the movies you watched, rate them, write a review for all your friends to see so you can keep up with what everyone's watching. You could do a watch list for movies that you want to watch. This isn't sponsored by any means either. I just think anyone who likes movies should get this app because it's a lot of fun. And if you do, make sure you go follow me. The link will be in the description. But that's going to do it for me. I'm really excited to get into more content surrounding movies and shows and stuff because I was doing it for a while. And you know, I really do have a passion for this stuff, but sometimes life gets busy and you have to choose what you're going to focus on. So I really focused a lot more on skits, but I do really want to keep up with the movie content. So please stay tuned and make sure you subscribe for more vids like this. But thank you guys so much if you did watch all the way through. But it's been your boy B-Ham. I want y'all to be happy and manifest, and I'm out, guys. Peace.